going to use that to make some predictions on stuff. All right, so let's make sure that you guys understand how do we transition from yesterday's activity where we were finding the probability of winning, which, by the way, you did not win, but really your score held up pretty well. Fifth hour thought it was funny because they laughed at your score and like, well, we'll definitely be third hour. And then they came in with a penny. Okay. You know the answer. Good. So you pick a card at random. This right here where it says P3, that means what is the probability of getting a 3? That's how mathematicians are going to do that, so they don't have to write it out. So Kate, what do you think? 1/3. You have a 1 out of 3 chance, a 1/3 chance of getting a 3. So that's how we write that as a fraction. Okay, 1 out of 3. All right, next one. You pick a marble at random. What is the probability of getting yellow? Simplify your answer. This one wants us to write it as a fraction or a whole number. So what is the probability of us getting a yellow in this one? Griffin. Okay, he's saying 7 out of 9. Where did you come up with those two numbers? There's 9 altogether, so this is just like yesterday when we counted up how many suitcases were left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are yellow. And then we always reduce that, but 7/9 is not reduced. Okay, questions on that before I keep going? No, that should seem fairly easy. All right, next slide. Okay, you spin the spinner once. What is the probability of getting orange? Yeah, you got to make sure you know what they're asking for. Okay, I heard 3 out of 10. I've heard 3 out of 12. Did I just hear 5 out of 12? And we got to make it into a percent. What would be the fraction? I agree with 3, because there's 3 orange. How many total are there? 12. There's 12? Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? I agree. Okay, what would that reduce to? 1/4, right? Both of these will divide by 3. So that would be 1/4. Okay, what percent math is 1/4? 125%. Okay. All right. Next one. This one says you flip a coin, and we're gonna answer a second part of that question. What is the probability of getting tails? Write your answer as a percentage. Okay, this should be fairly simple. So if I flip a coin, what are my chances of getting tails? 50%. That is 1 out of 2, right? There are 2 outcomes here. So 1 out of 2, which is a 50%. So the next question says, if you flip the coin 90 times, how many times would you expect to get, what is this one, to get heads? 45. So you did that mentally, okay? So that would be 45. What would I do if I couldn't do it mentally? Do you know what to do?
90 divided by 0.5.
Okay. Well, let's try it. You said 90 divided by 0.5. Okay, let's see what we get. 90 divided by 0.5.
90 divided by 2.
Okay, let's stick with the 50% though, because what if I give you 56%? Or what if I give you 72%? How would you figure it out? Okay, but I said, what if I change the percent? So what if instead of saying it's 50%, what if I say it is 78% chance? Isabel. Okay, so let's try it with this one. 90, what would you say on this one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's see if that works, right? 90 times 0.5. Does that give me the right answer? Okay, so if we want to figure out the estimate, or how many times, we're going to take the decimal times the number, and that will tell us how many times. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so let's try this one. All right, so you roll a 6-sided dice. Let's do the probability first. It says, what is the probability of getting a 2? Simplify your answer and write it as a fraction. What would be our chances here, Zeke? How many? You said 2 out of 6? Okay, now the probability of getting a 2. How many 2s are on the dice? Just 1, right? So 1 out of 6. Okay. Now it says I rolled the dice 120 times. How many times would I expect to get a 2? What do you think I'm going to have to do here? Okay, why am I dividing? Okay, but why? What are you wanting me to divide? I guess I'm not understanding. You want to take 120 divided by 6? Okay, that is definitely one way to get the answer. That would work. What if it was like 5/6? So, would you know what to do then? Okay, so what did I just teach you on the last slide? What would be helpful if I knew? The decimal. Why would the decimal be helpful? Yes, because then I could multiply that by the 120. Does that make sense? Now, those of you guys, if you were thinking, well, I need to divide it by 6 and then I just need one of those numbers, that works. I just want to make sure you can do it with 5/6. So those of you who are math fancy, if you divided by 6 and I needed 5/6, I would take that number and multiply it by 5. Does that make sense? Because then that would give me 5 parts of it. Okay, so, but another, I think a way that's a little bit simpler is take 1 divided by 6 and I get that as my decimal. Okay, so now what do I need to do with that number right there? Times it by 120. Just leave that in there and hit times 120, and what do you get? 20. Okay, so it's 20 times. It should hit 20 times out of 120. It's not very many, right? That's what we learned when we played that game on Friday. All right, let's look at this one. All right, last slide to look at before you're going to have some work time. So this one says, if you spin the spinner once, what is the probability it will stop on the 2? Be careful. This one's tricky. Griffin?
50%.
Why did you say 50%? There's 4 numbers up there.
Because it's half of the circle.
It's half of the circle. Do you guys see that? So if this says if you spin it, what is that? Now this says probability. So actually the probability is 1 out of 2. Because the 2 is half of the circle. Okay? And then if it asks for percent, you can put percent. If you spin the spinner once, what is the probability it will stop on the 3? Cassie?
1/4.
Okay, she thinks 1/4. Isabel?
1/8.
I got 1/8. Another 1/8. Why is it 1/8 and not 1/4? Cassie?
Because there's more than it can be divided by one.
What do you mean by that? It can be divided by more.
It can, the 1 can be divided into another half, and the 2 can be divided into 80 times.
Very good. For probability, everything has to have an equal chance. Okay? So this 3 is a very small piece of the pie right here. So I would literally have to divide these so that they're all equal pieces. Does that make sense? So I have a 1 in 8 chance of getting that 3 because it's equal pieces all the way around. Make sense? 1 out of 8. All right, next one. If you spin the spinner 80 times, about how many times would you expect it to land on the 1? Okay, what do you think I need to do? Sam. Good. How would I find that decimal for the 1? Very good. The 1 is 1/4 of the spinner. Okay, now what, Sam?
1 divided by 4.
Okay, so 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. Very good. And multiply that by the 80. So 80 times 0.25, which some of you guys who are fancy can do that in your head, right? Because you can figure out what is 1/4 of 80. Who's my fancy people? What's 1/4 of 80? 20, right? Because you can split it into 4 parts. So it would be 20. If you're not fancy, you just multiply it out. You just grab your calculator, multiply it out. Some of you are better at number sense than others. Okay? Questions on any of that? Okay, that is your whole lesson for today.